If you think you missed the semiconductor boom, think again. Nvidia's massive rally has dominated headlines, but what most investors don't realize is that the real semiconductor revolution may still be in its early innings. AI, electric vehicles, cloud computing, clean energy, defense, 5G, and the Internet of Things, all of these rely on chips. And the demand curve for semiconductors isn't just rising, it's about to go parabolic. Meanwhile, supply is constrained by just a handful of companies and choke points that the rest of the global economy depends on. That combination, exploding demand and limited supply, is why semiconductor stocks could keep surging in ways Wall Street still hasn't fully priced in. In this video, I'll break down why chips are the most important resource of the 21st century, how demand is transforming from cyclical to structural, why supply bottlenecks are creating pricing power, and why the rally may just be getting started. Let's start with the basics. Semiconductors are not optional anymore. They are the foundation of everything in modern life. Think about it. Without chips, there are no iPhones. Without chips, there are no Teslas. Without chips, there is no ChatGPT. A modern smartphone contains more than 10 billion transistors. A Tesla Model 3 has over 3,000 chips running everything from the battery to the sensors. And a single artificial intelligence server can require thousands of high-performance GPUs. In many ways, semiconductors are the new oil. In the 20th century, whoever controlled oil controlled the global economy. In the 21st century, whoever controls semiconductors controls the future of technology. And here's something that often gets overlooked. This isn't one monolithic industry. It's an ecosystem made up of multiple critical segments. You have the design leaders like NVIDIA, AMD, and Qualcomm. You have the manufacturers, also called foundries, like TSMC, Samsung, and Intel. You have the equipment makers like ASML and Applied Materials, which provide the machines that make chip production possible. And then there are the niche suppliers producing wafers, gases, and chemicals essential to fabrication. Together, this ecosystem generates roughly $600 billion in revenue today, but analysts project it could exceed $1 trillion annually before 2030. That's nearly doubling in less than a decade. Now let's talk about demand, because this is where things get very interesting. For decades, semiconductors were considered a cyclical industry. Demand rose during technology booms and fell during downturns, but that old model is breaking. Today's demand isn't cyclical, it's structural, it's permanent. Take artificial intelligence. Training a large model like GPT-4 requires tens of thousands of the world's most advanced GPUs, each costing up to $30,000. Once trained, those models still need thousands more chips for inference, the process of running the model for millions of users simultaneously. Multiply that across Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Meta, Tesla, and every startup racing to build AI tools. The chip demand here is unlike anything we've seen in history. But it doesn't stop with AI. Electric vehicles use up to 10 times more semiconductors than traditional cars. By 2030, EV sales could represent more than half of all new cars sold worldwide. That alone will drive massive chip consumption. Fifth-generation wireless networks require advanced chips to manage enormous data flows. The rollout of 5G and eventually 6G will require billions of devices to connect seamlessly. Defense budgets are shifting to cyber, space, and AI-driven systems, all of which depend on advanced chips. And then there's the Internet of Things. In the year 2000, the average home had 2 connected devices. By 2030, that number is expected to exceed 20 per home. Every thermostat, every camera, every medical sensor, every wearable, all powered by semiconductors. This is why I call it a demand shock. We aren't just seeing more devices, we're seeing exponential increases in processing power required by every single sector of the global economy. But while demand explodes, supply tells a very different story. Building the most advanced chips is not like manufacturing cars or smartphones. It's one of the hardest engineering challenges humanity has ever attempted. The precision and scale required are staggering. Only one company in the world, ASML in the Netherlands, can produce extreme ultraviolet lithography machines, the equipment required to make the smallest, most powerful transistors. Each machine costs more than $200 million and takes multiple jumbo jets to transport. These machines are the crown jewels of the industry. Meanwhile, TSMC in Taiwan is responsible for producing more than 90% of the world's most advanced chips. Building a new fabrication plant costs $20 to $30 billion and takes 5 years to complete. The barriers to entry are enormous. This creates a massive bottleneck. While demand is scaling exponentially, Supply simply cannot keep up. And here's the kicker. That bottleneck creates pricing power. Instead of being forced into cutthroat competition, many semiconductor companies now look more like toll booths. If the digital economy is the highway, they collect a fee every single time someone drives down the road. That's why margins are holding strong even when global growth slows down. The world cannot function without chips, and the companies controlling the bottlenecks know it. So what does this mean for investors? It means the rally we've seen so far may only be the beginning. Yes, Nvidia's stock has soared to historic levels. But if you zoom out, history shows us something important. In every major technology boom, the first wave of winners pulls the second wave higher. In the 1980s, the personal computer boom made Microsoft and Intel household names. But then suppliers, peripheral makers, and software firms surged as the ecosystem expanded. In the 2010s, the smartphone boom was led by Apple. But suppliers like TSMC, Qualcomm, and Broadcom also skyrocketed because the rising tide lifted the entire value chain. We are seeing the same dynamic play out today with artificial intelligence and semiconductors. Nvidia may be the Apple of this era, but the ripple effects are only beginning. Equipment makers like ASML and Applied Materials benefit every time a foundry expands capacity. Memory producers like Micron and SK Hynix are essential for storing the mountains of data AI requires. Specialty suppliers producing wafers, gases, and advanced packaging technologies may not be household names, but they are mission-critical to the ecosystem. The point is clear. The semiconductor rally is broader and deeper than most investors realize. It is not just about one stock or even a handful of them. It's an entire supply chain gearing up for a trillion-dollar decade. Here's the bottom line. Semiconductor stocks could keep surging not just because of hype, but because of fundamentals. Exploding demand, limited supply, and a powerful ecosystem effect are combining to create one of the strongest secular growth stories in markets today. Yes, volatility will happen, valuations will swing, there will be cycles within the cycle. But step back and the story is unmistakable. Semiconductors are the backbone of the global economy, and we are still early in this era, when every government, every automaker, every tech giant, and every startup all need more chips at the same time. The question isn't whether demand will hold up. The question is whether supply can ever catch up. And that gap, that imbalance between demand and supply, is what creates opportunity. If you found this video helpful, hit the like button. It helps us reach more investors who want to stay ahead of the curve. And don't forget to subscribe to Seven Hills Equities, where we break down the forces shaping the market so you can invest with confidence. The semiconductor revolution isn't over, it's just beginning. And you'll want to be here when the next wave hits.